Okay, so I am buying into the squad.
I love it. As we go to champion select, I'm going to hand it right over to Hawk.
Thank you very much, Jaso. And we are here in Champion Select, and it needs to be said one more time. Team fights, the name of the game for Pain Gaming and Fluxo. 4x4, I love how you bring up the 80 carries, because that is going to be the crux of this matchup between these two squads. No matter how good their solo lanes may be, their junglers may be, it's all about Brunsey and B-Boy. And dare I say that Brunsey has been the best 80 carry in the league so far this split. But Pain Gaming, they want to prop up their marksman with a support pick.
Wowie, wowie. I mean, it could go in the mid lane, although I'd be really sad if it did. But the camera was on karaoke.
Yeah.
I think the observers think this is going to be for him as well.
Why not, right? Karaoke has made his name on Pain Gaming over this year as playing those more supportive facilitator junglers, right? So if B-Boy is able to have that extra facilitator, I was just talking up Brunsey so much, but B-Boy has been an amazing carry for this team. It really could help bridge that team fight gap between these two squads.
Kaisa and Viego locked in. They're giving DeSamus a little bit more of the carry pants here. Now with the Varus locked in here, you see maybe, or not locked in, I should say hovered. If it is locked in, and it will be, do you see them kind of going a little bit what we saw with the red lineup, right? Just, you know, prop up maybe not the marksman in a traditional sense, but like the poke.
This could be a Varus mid. It also could be AP Varus bot. We've seen that a lot popping up. It's not the hardest carry pick. Varus oftentimes considered a utility pick, so wondering if they're looking at something like that Azir for Dean Cato that you brought up earlier, 4x4. On the other side, Rel still up and available. We've seen it paired with Kaisa multiple times already in this league over the past couple weeks. Honestly, that's what I would expect Fluxo to go for, but that Tristana getting locked in, there's that other marksman that I was hoping for to be paired alongside this Ivern, presumably going towards Dean Cato in the mid lane, but both these champions do technically have flex potential depending on matchup.
I'd be interested to see the support that's locked in, right? Maybe does one of them pair better with the other one as the lanes get more defined. But I like you said, you've got this double marksman comp that Ivern is going to prop up, and you get mixed damage as well. You get some on-hit, you get some flat, just big damage numbers. How's going to lock in the LeBlanc for himself? So we've got everything but the top lane and the support, it looks like, locked in for both sides.
Yeah, pretty interesting draft. I mean, LeBlanc still really OP with the static shift. The biggest outlier to me is this Viego. Much more of a skirmish-oriented champion alongside this LeBlanc and Kaisa. It's sort of like what we saw in game number 2. One team wants to play very grouped up, let their double marksman do the damage. The other team wants to try to drive a wedge through them. However, don't underestimate the power of this Ivern in a skirmish after the buffs. Daisy will mess you up, man. Daisy's got hands, so worth noting that Fluxo does need to be careful. And the biggest thing I'm looking for them is those playmakers. Rel, I mentioned it, still up on the board. Rakan, also up and available, the two best supports in the game. I would expect both these teams to want to trade those back and forth. We'll see which one JoJo prefers. 4x4, I know you were talking up JoJo being back on the Engaged Champions earlier today.
He has looked better on those, dare I say. He has got himself on the Rel, the Alistar, not really an Engaged champion, but a little more kind of old school, shall we say, right? Not of the Enchanter school. And they're going to take away the Rel. And the Rel Malphite, that was the combo that they ran in that Rin over Los Grandes. So indeed, that does leave the Rakan open. Bam, Pro Delta going to slam himself a Nautilus. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw either of those flipped, but that does kind of track with, I think, what we wanted to see out of these supports.
Yeah, so Rakan is a little rough into the Nautilus matchup, so Pro Delta does have a favorable lane matchup, but you just cannot deny the engage power of Rakan, the utility that it provides to any team. I like this a lot for JoJo, and then saving our 5 counter pick for the top side, Ty, someone that has been known to have quite a deep champion pool, maybe for better or for worse. We all shudder at the memory of the Vladimir game at the beginning of Split 1. But when we talk about how proficient the individual talent is, forcing Weiser onto just a safe blind pick like this Renekton is definitely favorable for Fluxo. And speaking of Weiser, you know he wants redemption after getting beat up on by ZZK just last week.
It will give him the Cassante.
That is a self-counter.
4-10. You saw the record there, and also just a little nugget. Nautilus 0-4 in CBLOL. Did not expect that. Talk to me about this this self counter now that we've got the matchups dictated here.
Yeah, so I mean, Renekton just straight up beats Cassante. It beats most tanks. So Ty picking into an unfavorable matchup on a champion that, as you highlighted, has struggled to perform in CBLOL. With that being said, it's the only true tank now in the game for either squad, and against double marksman, look at the amount of magic damage on the side of Pain Gaming. It's not that much. You're fully relying on this AP Varus, who does a lot, but doesn't really want to be hitting this Cassante. It's a lot more front-loaded in his kit, so if you can't one-shot the Cassante, you're not killing anybody else either. It just becomes really awkward to play. But you can never underestimate the power of double marksman, and we mentioned the skirmish power of Ivern. Now when paired with Renekton, Tristana, Nautilus, Pain Gaming has actually locked themselves in a very, very proficient team fighting composition, basically at all stages of the game. It's going to be more up to the engage threat of this Rakan, Viego, LeBlanc, the pick potential there for Fluxo to try to find somebody out early on in a fight.
Yeah, this could get really scrappy early. I don't think we're going to see, like our last game, no kills until the 10-minute mark. At least I certainly
One would hope.
Yeah, like you said, Viego, he doesn't have to wait for that level 6, right? He's going to skirmish, he's going to scrap. And Renekton, right, he's going to turn into a little bit more of a tank as the game goes on. You saw last game, Lonely grabbed himself the Garbo Stone Plate at about, for the second item there after the board drinker, pretty much. And yeah, and with the Ivern shields, man, just build him straight support. Like you said, he could prop up basically an entire team.
Yeah, Ivern just so incredibly strong right now in the current meta. And you say, hopefully, we don't get that slow game. Well, both these teams have been no stranger to playing the slower early game, but the one person that oftentimes has broken the mold for Fluxo, Tisamis on this Viego into the Ivern matchup, should be able to find those early plays. Like you said, does not have to wait for the level 6. Looking at him to be a playmaker for Fluxo, linking up with House, but on the other side, double marksman, going to be very threatening for Pain Gaming as we're on to the Rift for Game 4.
I want to touch back on that Viego pick. I think this is going to be really, really interesting because this analysis that I'm about to give is a little reductive. It's a little bit correlation causation, but bear with me. 4 wins for Fluxo this split. Wukong, 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 Maokai. The 2 losses, Nocturne, Kha'Zix. Again, correlation does not mean causation, but they are entrusting Tisamis with a little bit more of the early game carrying here. Now, they've got other damage to back him up. Like you said, the LeBlanc's still very powerful with the static shift. They can make things happen all across the map, pushing out waves, etc. And we've seen what the mixed damage can do from this Kai'Sa. So I think they've constructed the composition a little better around him. It's not as much burden of execution, especially in the late game, if things start to go sideways. But this is a little bit of a different look for Tisamis.
Yeah. I mean, Tisamis very quickly slammed this Viego down into the Ivern when he saw a pick. Yeah. So clearly wanted this matchup. Wouldn't have been my first choice, but I mean, hey, the confidence to slam it down tells me something about what he thinks of the champion. And I like how you bring up the mixed damage of Kai'Sa. Fluxo does have themselves a very long range composition. The effective threat range of Rakan, Kai'Sa, and LeBlanc is very substantial. On the other side, Nautilus has good engage range, but he's really the only one. The rest of the composition going to need to get just a little bit closer to make their presence felt. And yes, I even said that about Varus, who, despite being very long range, can't really contend with over a screen away like some of the others on the other side.
Yeah, and with the magic damage, as Nautilus, or rather the Varus does start with a long sword here, so maybe not opting that just yet. Trying to go for the Hail of Blades, a little more early damage. Runcie and Jojo do hit level 2 first here. It's the AP damage, the brunt of that comes from the passive, right? You have to get up in range to stack those autos. You can't just be poke Varus and expect that mixed damage to come through.
Yeah, your Q is actually extremely useless on its own in the RP Varus build, so it makes Varus's effective range actually a lot lower. Makes that a bit more of a challenge, but both junglers are going to be pathing towards the bottom side. Obviously, Ivern a little bit weird, even though he started on bottom. You have to prep your camps, right? So you start bottom, prep those camps, then go top, then reverse back to bottom. Make sure you're covering B-Voy, Ivern, clearing just a little bit different than all the junglers in the game. And Karaoke clearly doing a good job, recognizing he doesn't need to go for any sort of proactivity, just looking to defend his marksmen that, as we highlighted, need to be the carries in this game.
A lot of damage in these compositions. An Ivern gank is a little bit of a funny thing as well. If he can land that root caller, it's obviously
see him.
good for everybody involved. Karaoke, level 4. Now they're actually just going to jump on him because they've got Desamas waiting in the wings. Fluxo, thought that they got the fight started on them, but they're the ones jumping on it. Pro Delta only level 2. Up in the top side, rather. Wiser. 2 tie. Like you said, this is a Renekton-favored matchup, but not really because of the players. Renekton is just a big lane bully. Even like you pointed out, Cassante, he's about as self-sufficient in a lane as a tank gets, but it is still Renekton.
Yeah, it's just hard to deal with. And ultimately, at the end of the day, those top laners are going to duke it out with each other. But Karaoke, a little bit of a weird play by Pain. They couldn't decide if they wanted to go for that early gank, and then they decided to bail out of it with Karaoke's flash. However, it gets Dasami's over this double crab. Lots of early control in the river, exactly what we wanted to see from this Viego. He can take his reset and look to full clear back down towards the bottom lane. Could even look to apply pressure on top as Wiser is trying to push out. Karaoke might need to come up and shadow this lane just to make sure the Renekton doesn't get taken down, because the worst thing that can happen in the Renekton-Cassante matchup is Renekton dies, Cassante bases and gets armor, and then all of a sudden you have a useless crocodile on your team.
Yeah, then it's just darn near impossible. Karaoke getting very adventurous up there. And now that one of the junglers have any idea that the other one is there, Jojo going right in onto B-Boy here. Takes the damage right back onto him. B-Boy did lose one of his summoner spells, so wouldn't be surprised to see Desamas just run right back down once he resets, most likely, if he clears up those chickens. Keto trade flows back and forth here. Wiser coming back to lane with the Blade and Steel Caps.
And that was a great cover from Karaoke onto Wiser, just helping him base, exactly as we highlighted, not letting Dasami's come in. Now Viego can take his reset, and again, I think we're going towards a pretty slow early game 4x4, which is not entirely surprising. Both these teams, they have decent early game prospects, but what they really want to do is team fight. They just want to do so differently. Fluxo, again, looking for things a little bit more divided, poke and prod. Pain Gaming, a little bit more sustained, want to play a bit of a kite style with the Ivern double marksman. So both of them more than content. Just farm it out. Dragon on the board. I would expect an early move towards that dragon from the Samis. Ivern notoriously bad at soloing early Drakes. And especially when you've got the Kaisa Rakan, I do think, especially once level 6 has come through, the playmaking does favor Fluxo with the quickness.
Yeah, you can get creative with your angles. I mean, House and JoJo, and even Tate to a degree, can get very creative with their angles, with their flanks. I want to point out something as well. Brunsey, he's that dragon with a noon quiver, as Fluxo do start with the dragon. He had the curve case shard in there, sold it, and then got himself a noon quiver.
That is interesting. Does noon quiver, it doesn't build with a static shift, does it?
I don't think so, unless I missed something.
I'm really surprised if you go... It does. No, it does. It does build in the static shift. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. I was like, if you go 80 Varus this game, you've lost against Cassante with... Okay, we're good. It's probably still an AP Varus, especially the Hail of Blades would tip it to me that it's an AP Varus, so I think we're good. But junglers circling like sharks, blood in the water. They have been chummed, and the root goes out, but that's Rakan.
Yeah, Rakan very slippery. Just a little too close to tower. Desamas walks right over a ward. They know they're there. Pro Delta taken low and taken, you'd like to think, out of this game. First blood going over to Brunsey. Fluxo on the board. Meanwhile, the top lane, both of them pop their ultimates. It is time to throw down. Dominus up. Tay not going to opt into the rest of this fight. Wiser a little too strong.
Yeah, Ty not able to make that one work. You can see Renekton, the power of the duel, but it's another attempt from Pain Gaming to make a play in bottom that goes horribly wrong. Both flashes, all summoners I should say, burned off of the bottom lane as Brunsey able to pick up first blood. Remember what I said about him being the best performing AD carry so far this split 4x4? Well, you know, when you teach a man a fish, I don't know. Well, he was just given a fish. That's what I'm trying to say. He got first blood.
Let's see what he does with it. He's got himself a half item advantage. He's got himself that Kirk's shard. So, indeed, right, confirmed. The alarm bells went off a little bit prematurely there.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of summoner spells blown. In fact, all of them. And B-Boy, he's blown Ghost twice already this game at the 8-minute mark. It's a lot of pressure that's being put onto the Pain Gaming bottom lane by Desamas and company. It's been kind of another two very weird ganks, right? Because Karaoke has made his way down there, and then it's been Desamas helping Fluxo counterpunch as Pain start up his Herald.
It's just awkward because Pain Gaming has good skirmish on the top side, but not very good skirmish around Varus Nautilus. It's just not great. Fluxo, meanwhile, Kaisa, Rakan, they love to do it. However, with that being said, it's Pain Gaming. They're just going straight towards the Herald. Fluxo opting to drop the Herald in favor of getting bot waves in place. So it's less gold going towards B-Boy, more gold towards Brunsey. The big thing is, how does Pain use the Herald, right? Herald, it's a bit of an investment. You know, you put some money in the stock, you hope it grows, and you can cash out big time later on. But it could also flop terribly, and you lose everything. And meanwhile, the other guys just made money off their normal income. So it'll be a little tough, and a great pick in the jungle from Fluxo, who catches the rotation.
Yeah, and Pro Delta got absolutely nothing on his hook, and Fluxo come out on top until, of course, they don't. Dinketo popping up out of nowhere, grabbing himself the other support kill. Brunsey, meanwhile, just capital F feasting on all that turret plate gold.
Yeah, that's his regular income, right? B-Boy's playing the stock market, and Brunsey has a 9-5, but 9-5 looking pretty dang good. Something we've really commonly seen teams do is lurk in bottom side jungle to catch out the team that just did Rift Herald on their rotation back over. Exactly what Fluxo did. It ends up being a 1-for-1 traded, but kill going on to Sasami's gonna feel pretty good. But all things considered, 4x4, despite some of the kills going over, Fluxo maintaining a marginal lead, however, nothing particularly substantial. I'm really looking at this Dragon in a minute 30. Pain Gaming, they'll have the Herald to potentially find themselves a favorable fight, but Fluxo, their composition starting to come online at this point in the game.
Yeah, minute 24 until that first dragon, or until the second dragon, I should say, excuse me.
Whoa.
As Dinketo actually looking for the all-in here. Onto Brunsey, Pro Delta playing bodyguard, just harangues JoJo into taking that fight. He says, you don't want this? No, actually, you do. Dumps everything onto him, and there's that Herald pressure that you were looking for, huh?
It's gonna get 2 plates, so it's all right. Not too bad, not great. They dropped it before Dragon, though, so they're gonna get a reset now. Let's see if they can get an item off of that. Otherwise, it might be a bit of a waste, but Pain Gaming committing nonetheless. And what league are we watching? We've had some very slow early games today. Like, what's going on? Are the players feeling okay? They under the weather?
This is not what I was sold. I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah.
subbed out the Red Bull for Dramamine. I don't know.
Right, yeah. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, feeling a little bit woozy. Maybe partied a little too hard last week, so they need to take it easy this time.
Yeah, the Festa das Juninhas, the festivals in Brazil got the better of some of them. And they're going to have to get that second item spike that you were talking about, Hawk. Dinketo not quite able to finish up his first item, but Static Shiv obviously a little bit cheaper, so fair enough. But Fluxo, they were on that.
Yeah, but quick math, though. Two is more than 1. So Static Shiv math currently favors Fluxo.
Static Shiv math.
That's quick math.
Extremely important.
Yeah,
here.
it is. It's very important in 13.12. Like, that's the only. I think that's the only math that matters.
Samus and JoJo looking for a pick here, throwing out their wards. Everyone knows where everyone is. B-Boy with the power of the Iron Rush, trying to get a little bit of a stronger push to Samus. Find the Q. Now Pro Delta actually gets the hook there onto JoJo. B-Boy dumping damage down. Doesn't find anyone with the ultimate. How's looking for a flank potentially. He's got Flash. He's got all the tools at his disposal, and that Static Shiv, as we talked about, gonna go over the Dragon Pit. See if Fluxo commit to this.
4-4. That was Chains of Corruption. B-Boy thought they had a pick, and it went wide. So an ultimate invested, a very key ultimate. Pain Gaming, they still want to fight for this, not wanting to give over a second Dragon for free, but Fluxo has good positioning, looking for JoJo to pull the trigger onto this 3-man group towards mid.
And with Daisy gone, the contest kind of goes out the window. They got nothing. Maybe Karaoke and Pro Delta look for something here over the wall, but it looks like it just kind of fizzled.
Yeah, I mean, Pain, they just weren't able to find an angle in, and Fluxo, I think, wisely decide just to take the objective and did not pull the trigger when they don't have to. Pain not stepping too far forward, just giving it over. However, an unanswered neutral gonna feel very good. 2 Dragons. We've seen early souls become very impactful in our first 2 games so far today. And then the lack of early soul be very impactful last game. So, I mean, those Dragons can really get out of hand quickly.
see how Fluxo, how heavily they index towards it. Like you said, the static shift math will continue to favor Fluxo, right? Being able to just wave clear so much quicker, get House, get Brunsey into the mid lane, into the bottom lane. You already see Dinketo doing his side lane thing as House is the one sent up to the top side of the map. See the statistics there on your screen for Brunsey. I know a lot of you in our audience can read Portuguese, but for those that cannot, left to right, kill participation, damage per minute, and gold per minute. Second, third in the league. This man is a statistical monster. Just adding to the case that you were making, Hawk, I think many would, that this kid is in fact the best AD carry in Brazil.
Best AD carry in Brazil right now, and not only that, has been such a great performer on his team. It feels like anytime Fluxo gets to team fights, they can always rely on this guy. Their win against Loud, for example, having been behind so much of the game until Brunsey made it a Zeri moment. And it's funny talking about static shiv math. You know, Fluxo, they're going to permanently be ahead in this metric for the rest of the game. And last night for our podcast, me and Grapes, our North American podcast, we interviewed a player, and he basically said that static shiv LeBlanc makes LeBlanc like the easiest champion in the game. You just double W forward, auto attack somebody, chunk them for half their HP, and then W back, and like boom, you're playing LeBlanc. You don't need to land any skill shots, nothing. It's like the most easy champion in the game now, and I mean, the ease of execution actually might go a long way for helping Fluxo come out on top here.
And LeBlanc, obviously, traditionally, an extremely hard
pretty difficult. Like, you gotta walk the line, hit some skill shots, you know? These days, not like Q, auto, boom, half HP, like my work here is done.
That's certainly what they're trying to do. That is the main way you can create the pressure, right? I mean, a lot of pros have lamented static shift because it just reshapes the way that the game is played, right? Maybe that's it, right? You're just opting into, okay, we're going to slow down and wait for these static shifts.
Oh, here we go.
A second. The sum is making me look a little silly. Brunsey getting to kill Pro Delta. The stopwatch is going to buy him time, delay the inevitable 1-2 kills for Brunsey. Looks to grabbing hold of the early game.
That's why Rakan is strong, because at a moment's notice, you can make a fight happen. JoJo gets in there with the quickness and finds out B-Boy and Pro Delta, who wanted to set up around this Rift Herald, but Fluxo fights slowly but surely going their way. And this is some of the concerns I had for Pain Gaming 4x4 is they play so defensive in these games, trying to just slowly group up around objectives and claim them. And even though Karaoke, I guess, just rolls up to the club and smites it, I still think the kills are what really matters here.
House blows the flash. I guess Desamis didn't have smite there.
Oh, either that or he was scared. I mean, his bot lane had based, so maybe he was a little worried about getting jumped on by multiple members of Pain. I don't know, but yeah, weird play nonetheless.
Yeah, odd one there. But as the other points we've been making are alluding to, Fluxo in control of this one early. They've got themselves about, 1,000 gold lead. 2 dragons. No towers have been taken, though. Like you said, Hawk, that first Rift Herald usage, could have been better, could have been worse. Hopefully the second one goes a little better for Pain Gaming. They've got themselves both of those. We're going to go into a replay in that fight that you were talking about. JoJo starts the fight over there, but he makes it happen.
Yeah, Pain, they're trying to inch their way into the river, but Fluxo, they've just got priority on the wave, so they know that they can go for this play. 4 members stacked up, and I mean, just a really nice charm knock-up from JoJo. Not really much else to be said, and Pain, they've really struggled to find proactivity. We've seen no active Nautilus hooks, it feels like, from Pro Delta. Multiple neutral objectives now that they've been caught out around and not able to find a fight. Double marksman, you still can't count them out in the late game, but Fluxo in this mid game, up now about 1,000 gold, looking pretty solid. Dragon full point for them, spawning in 15 seconds. They've got priority in mid as well with their static shift users. So Pain, they've got to find a way through this choke point, but Ty, look at this, playing bodyguard at this portion of the map, not wanting to let them walk through for free.
Oh, House just jumps right there onto Weiser. Weiser has to blow everything but the Dominus, holds on to it, didn't panic. Herald dropped right into that mid lane turret. It will, in fact, go down. There you go. First tower gold going over to Karaoke. And
this is good.
Back. Dinketo's got himself an item and a half. There's that nice hook for Pro Delta. It lands onto Desamis. Tay, how to play bodyguard, like you said. Desamis getting the heck out of dodge. He's going to be useless this fight, and Tay will pay the iron price. Dinketo on the board. House might escape here with his life. Weiser cannot get in range, so that's all they needed. Pain, first purchase on the 3rd dragon.
Much better play from Pain right here. They only get 1 kill, but it's so nicely done. They use the Herald to generate a proactive advantage for themselves, walk through his 5 and find a kill. They stop the soul stacking, and 4x4, we are in it for, I believe, another long haul, as Pain has kept this game very competitive with that fight.
You see the power of the fight, you see the power of the Nautilus hook, and you see, I think, like you said, this has swung the temper of the game. Getting that third dragon, it's not just a soul stack angle for Fluxo. Maybe their objectives start to change, right? Even though they do have this immense wave pressure that they can create with the static shivs, maybe you see them try to opt into, you know, more picks, right? Just try to play the game, play the fights out a little bit differently here. I am looking forward to seeing the full strength of this Pain Gaming composition. Wiser was taken right out of that, but Pro Delta, man, I was gonna criticize him, and I think rightly so, for not having the impact that he wanted to early, right? And I think credit for that goes to him, right? They've been the aggressors here. They haven't allowed Pro Delta to be an aggressor himself, but when given the opportunity, he hit the hook. Hats off, Rick.
Yeah, well played by Pro Delta for sure. But in the game, I mean, dead even. 1 dragon and 2 towers separating these two teams. Gold there. Dinkato, 2 kills. One of these marksmen really starting to come online. You can see the chunk that B-Void took out of Ty in that last fight as well. But on the other side, Brunsey, 3-0-0, 2 items on this Kai'Sa with the Nashers and the Static Shiv. Best 80 carry in Brazil, poised and ready to carry Fluxo to yet another victory. This man, ever since 2020... Oh, hold on. Okay. What happened there? Yeah, I'm just going to keep talking. Ever since 2022 Worlds, Brunsey has been someone that has made his name known as a hyper carry in Brazil. And even though his jungler gets randomly caught out at 20 minutes into the game, he can still make wins happen.
He absolutely can. And the rest of the team around him has really been setting him up. You know, House has had himself quite the Azir week. He has some epic gamer moments with those shuffles. But the rest of the team around him, Tay had himself, I think, his best week of the split on the Malphite, jumping on it immediately. JoJo on these engaged champions, the Rel layering the CC on, and it just makes it so easy for Brunsey. It's not to take anything away from him, but that's to highlight. I mean,
right.
he's got a heck of a team around him, right? He makes the execution. They make the
Unlike Los Grandes with Natuno,
Look,
Brunsey has the supporting cast around him that's making his life easier. I
wasn't going to say it. I'm glad you jumped on.
I had to. Like, come on. We were casting him earlier. You know, it's how it is. Look, I want Los Grandes to turn it around, but at the moment, 5 games in a row lost. It's rough. It's a rough look.
Oh, that's a toughie. Resetting here, zooming out a little bit. Both these teams again, 4-2, and just looking to level up a little bit. You were talking about in the pregame that you liked some individual things of what you've seen from these teams. You've liked these, you know, whether it's early game this, late game team fight that, and we talked about it, the team fights, and the very different style that these team fights are going to take in the late game. That is what it's going to come down to. And so, if nothing else, Hawk, have you seen anything to raise the standard of either of these teams here in your eyes?
I don't think I've seen anything to lower it. I mean, both these teams have just played a very calm and calculated game, which I think is what we were expecting coming in.
Exactly.
I think Fluxo, I have liked some of the proactive looks we've seen from them. They've been more willing to pull the trigger. House, for example, very aggressively jumping forward, flash in.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! How do you like them apples?
TP behind, though. This is not over.
Nope, Wiser going in, pops the dominance. Can Daisy get there in time? Karaoke flashing forward. JoJo trying to help turn the tide. He flashes in, pops the quickness. Wiser is going backwards. B-Boy, the chains of corruption go wide. That's the second one he's missed this game. JoJo will pay for it with his life. Doesn't matter. DeSamus got in there and secured the kill, but he has to get out. Wiser now continuing the chase. Re-emboldened by the presence of the rest of his team. Not much Brunsey could do in this one. Kai'Sa likes to go forward, but she is running backwards after this 1-for-1 trade.
There's no denying that Pain might just be the best team in the league at playing reactively 4x4. Insta teleport comes through from Wiser, and Fluxo was completely disjointed in that fight. Ends up just being a 1-for-1. So, at the end of the day, very even play. But it looked like a one fight for Pain, as it's not over. Wiser just takes down top lane tier 1. They get full control of the river as well. But with Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, I don't think it's about Baron, but both teams resetting, coming to this drink.
Gold dead even, 39.0 on the schnoz. Like you said, probably not going to be about Baron. JoJo just making sure there's no shenanigans around there. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. It will be a Cloud Soul to play for, but that's going to be a little further down the line. Fluxo get first purchase here. Like you said, Pain Gaming, they should have full control of the river, right? The line of scrimmage is pushed all the way
They
up
might
to
just be
tier
able to
2.
fade Baron, double marksman. I mean, they want to contest this, but it's only Cloud Soul point, and Fluxo is completely out of position on the top side of the map. I think Pain Gaming might be over-indexing on this Dragon just a little bit. Run towards mid, push that wave, fog Baron. Fluxo would have to respond, and them running into you when you're playing Ivor, Nautilus, Varus is very, very scary. But no, they want to fight here.
Delta almost able to snag Desamis yet again. Every ultimate available for every member of this team. Gruncy, a little bit out of position here. Wiser, maybe hoping he can find a pick, looking for some sort of different angle. Now we're going to get the fight back started. Delta starts it with a hook. The charge goes onto and deletes Tay. Where did the Cassante go, Hawk? Now House looking for an angle. Diketo has no idea. Oh, Hawk, House actually went right back into the pit. Pain now fully in the Dragon Pit. They've got control here without Tay. They just decide to give it.
Again, a really weird engagement from both teams. Ty gets hooked, and Fluxo basically said, we'll get him next time, and they watched him die. Not even an honorable sacrifice. Ty goes to Valhalla, and the rest of his team more than willing to live it to fight another day, I guess. Rest in peace to the Warrior, but yeah, I mean, just a really odd play as Pain, they pick up a neutral objective, and so many of these fights, just 1 for 1, 1 for 0. The game yet to explode. The gold still dead even at this point. 4x4. It is only one singular mid lane tier 1 that separates Pain Gaming and Fluxo in our match of the week.
It's lived up to the billing in some ways, right? This was a very tough one to predict. I put my metaphorical marbles on Fluxo. Daisy, Karaoke puts his
STP.
very real Daisy there onto the members of Fluxo. Wiser healing up there from the Dominus. House trying to get an angle here on the LeBlanc. Which way will Pro Delta and company turn? His hooks
B-Boy missed again.
Late. Yeah, Nick wouldn't find it just yet. The Dragon was taken. All the focus is on Baron. Desamis trying to get more vision. House.
So 4x4, let me introduce you to a little game called LeBlanc Whack-A-Mole. Pain Gaming is completely failing to play it, so they're just going to engage on the other side.
And they get JoJo, so fair enough. Redemption comes down. Daisy playing bodyguard here. Bruncy gets jumped on and eliminated, but not before Diketo goes down as well. Bodies falling all over the place. This one is close. Tay survived by the skin of his teeth. Pro Delta hiding in the bush here. Desamis trying to get something for his troubles. House says, thank you very much. I will take that. It's a 3 for 2. Fluxo come out on top.
What are these fights, man? Get your pastas ready, by the way, when we look at this replay, because that was another Cassante moment, I think. But 3 for 2, Fluxo with the numbers advantage, and Jungler alive. They're on to the Baron. Should be able to melt this one down. B-Boy and Wiser, I don't think they've got anything to say about it. Nope. Fluxo maybe finding the advantage to break open this game, but the Crocodile gonna show up and maybe see if he can snap his jaw shut on somebody. Of course, are low.
Would be very impressive if he tried to. Like you said, the health bars are low. There goes the chains of corruption, but the damage is decent onto Desamis, but the numbers disadvantage just too much. JoJo there. I think he has the ultimate available there, and that's enough to be a game changer. Maybe even if he doesn't. Rakan, slippery little bugger. But Fluxo, they do walk away with the Baron. Get those pastas ready. Here is that replay.
Yeah, so first of all, LeBlanc Whack-A-Mole, right? House just being really annoying on the back line. They one-shot JoJo and Runcy, but they commit so far forward, and watch how Desamis and Ty are actually able to draw so much aggression on the side of the fight. Ty lives, by the way, after yoinking the enemy ADC and one-shotting him, and then getting the multiple knock. House all the while, hee poking him in the back, not getting whacked in the mole. I mean, it's just, I don't even know. That team fight, so weird. It seemed like Pain a little bit uncertain on where they wanted to go. Fluxo, beautiful punish, great execution to find themselves a Baron.
Well, like you said, you got to give credit to House, because that's exactly where you want to put the composition of Pain Gaming, is if you're starting to make them question, right? This is a team that has shown a lot of cohesion, right? They play very well reactively, and Fluxo making them react one way or the other, and then Fluxo have just kind of, Clamp their jaws shut. Now How's looking for something else here.
Whack-a-mole!
Yeah. Do they take the bait? Do they decide to turn? No, thank you.
Look at this, he's still looking.
This dude is something else. Dinketo might think he has something on him here. I'd be shocked if he chased. Desamas waiting in the wings. Mid-tier 1 going to equalize our very odd scoreboard here. But the only difference, again, to your point, is that Baron power play. You can take that number right there on the top right of your screen. That's a difference between these two teams' goal leads right now.
I want to say I'm really impressed with How's because Pain Gaming, they also have the ultimate whack-a-mole instant win button in Nautilus Ultimate, but How's doing a really great job of playing at the very edge of Nautilus's range and not giving Pro Delta a good angle to ult him, in which the team would then be able to follow up after he distortions back. So really good playing How's, knowing the limits of his champion and what he can do against point-and-click CC, not getting whacked, and now they're Dragon Soul point. They should be able to get it. Baron power play at 2,500. Looking at these mid and bot tier 2s to give them an additional inflection of gold.
Yeah, he's playing like a man possessed. He's playing extremely confidently right now. And you see...
Almost level 17.
Yes, yeah, that certainly will help. He's got the most gold. He's doing the most damage. It has been, again, a slower one, just 15 kills at 30 minutes. It will be that third dragon for either side. Again, not essential for either side, as viewed by the priority that Pain is taking on. They're just giving this one over. Fluxo will take it. They will be on gold point in about 5 minutes.
So, coming into the game, 4x4, we highlighted the carries on both sides. Double marksman for Pain Gaming. Well, B-Boy, 3 items on this AP Varus, and Dean Cato, level 16, on his way towards his 3rd item as well. Definitely going to have a lot of damage, but on the other side, Desamas and How's, the skirmish duo, they've played together very well, knowing their limits, taking the right fights, and look, while Pain, they've been able to one-shot the first target they get their hands on, as AP Varus is so good at doing. They've struggled just that little bit to actually extend the fights, find the additional hook, the Daisy rundown, to continue acquiring targets, and that's where the likes of Kaisa, Viego, Cassante, and LeBlanc have thrived in these longer fights.
Well, it's so hard, right? It's these extended fights, like you said, it favors in some ways Pain Gaming in terms of just sustained damage, but if Fluxo keeps playing like this, you talk about Desamas and How's, Desamas and Tide, right? When the fights get scattered, Fluxo have done a good job of pouncing on a target or two, whereas Pain have not, right? It's like Fluxo are like taking the... If Pain is silly putty, right? And Fluxo just kind of pulling them apart, and then when one strand breaks, everything kind of falls apart. Well, maybe not everything, because there hasn't been that game-breaking fight yet, Hall.
No, I'm... 4-4. Only 2,500 gold separates these teams. We've already seen a Baron go over. It's 30 minutes into the game, and yet it is so close. 7 to 8 in kills, because neither team willing to go for broke in one of these fights. It's exactly as we talked about in the pre-show. These teams, in my opinion, playing just that little bit too scared. Pain Gaming in particular has looked indecisive on some of their engagements about how far they really want to go, and they've gotten punished in those moments, going as far back as those bottom lane plays where they didn't know how far to go. Meanwhile, on the other side, the confidence of How's to one-shot the enemy AD carry has been a difference maker.
The heck was even that? Runsey blows the flash, so does Desamas, but a shutdown going over. B-Boy is down. Man, that is so much damage. Like you said, Han, you just W forward, you auto, you get a little bit of help from your friends, and one champion goes bye-bye.
Makes LeBlanc a lot easier, I'll tell you that, man. We just saw it on full display. Pain Gaming, they want to try to fog into the river here, clear out the vision on Fluxo's reset. If they can get some control here, it'll make Fluxo's power play with B-Boy being down a lot less impactful. They can push up mid. Fluxo, they're just going to be forced to respond. B-Boy should be able to respawn, and I don't think Fluxo's going to get anything for it. Baron spawning in 20 seconds. Both teams got their sights set on the second purple worm of the game.
Maybe this is that one. Maybe this is
both marksmen have 3 items. Brunsey, likewise, 3 items.
And so close to that death cap. Man, if Brunsey could decide to deal with the double right now, that says he could give up something to have himself the death cap in this fight, I think he would take it. How's has the TP, if you see on the bottom left of your screen. He is making waves on that bottom lane tier 3. What do Pain decide to do? they're not taking any damage here, really, from this Baron. It's just Weiser that is a little worse for wear. The brush is up. They know exactly where they are. Got the inhibitor. The Baron is down. The TP's coming in. Will the fight break out? Hook, misses Gojo in. All the CC down. Gruncy going over the wall. Stopwatch for Pain Gaming. B-Boy buying himself a little bit of time here, but he's taking pretty low. He's surviving so far, though. Ty going for the kill, but he will get gobbled alive. Weiser doing Renekton things. He gets a shutdown. Pain Gaming turn the fight around.
Nobody died, are you kidding me? 4x4, Pain Gaming gambled and won. They called Fluxo's bluff on this split push. They took the Baron in their face, and Fluxo, the engage, looked brilliant. Cassante and Rakan sectioning everybody off, but B-Boy, he had 3 items, but he also had the stopwatch, buying himself time, a second lease on life, and somehow they cleaned up all the kills without dropping a single member. We can take a look at it again and maybe get to the bottom of this mystery. House wants to get the inhibitor before teleporting, but misjudging the speed at which the Baron could be taken. So Pain Gaming, they've already got the objective now to disengage. The engage looks perfect, but the stopwatch buys so much time. And look at Weiser section off the fight. Even though Ty and Dasamis are doing so much damage on the top side of that fight, the carries are on the bottom side, where Weiser is just beating up on them. And now with Dragon spawning, the soul will be stopped as well in Pain. They are just, as it looks like, out right back in it.
And up about 1,000 gold. Fluxo, again, they did get that inhibitor. They do have super minions in a lane, but Pain lost nobody after that Baron take. They've got the buff on 5 members, and they're going to grab themselves their 3rd dragon of the game. And I want to give more credit to Weiser here. At the 35-minute mark, rarely do we see Renektons do anything but be a glorified target dummy. But Weiser got him. I love the slate of items that he has picked up for himself. And he, like you said, Hawk, he sectioned off that fight because the fight that Fluxo have taken, we talked about it. Ty and then, like, Dasamis, and maybe it's Dasamis and House, but Fluxo wants to take these fragmented fights. And Weiser, and that stopwatch for B-Boy, unbelievable. But then Weiser just kind of, he almost like calls their bluff, it feels like, right? He's like, okay, you want to take a separated fight? Watch what I can do still with the Sterix, with the Gordringer, with the GA, with the Dominus, and with the Conqueror, right? And just made it a two-stage fight that Fluxo was very unhappy to take.
Weiser clearly took his shellacking from ZZK personally. I think it's fair to say. 5-0-4 on the Renekton, 4 items now, has a Guardian Angel performing beautifully. And now, with the Baron, I think we can finally start to see the power of the double marksman. The range of Tristana Varus, level 18 on Dean Kato. Those autos gotta come from so far away. That siege will be deadly, but Weiser is just caught.
Man, that's a big croc. He is a healthy Harry. The GA is popped in the safety of a brush. But for all that effort, you get the GA. Well, let's see. I mean, Brunson's going to have that up in about no time flat.
I mean, how do you let that happen? In mid lane, you have Baron. Weiser steps up, and Fluxo just runs him down. Pain just off in Narnia. I don't even know they were playing on their side waves, but you got to play on mid to be able to play on sides first, always. And so a really great punish from Fluxo. Going to stifle this Baron push quite a bit.
Yeah, that's not nothing right there. And you see the 2 death caps coming in right for that fight. Once he didn't have his death cap, neither did House. Hey, he's now on 4 items. This Fluxo team is not going to go out without a fight. Again, they're still only down 1,000 gold. They're up a tower. They have pressure in one of the side lanes that Pain have to rectify if they want any sort of hope after what they hope is a Dragon Soul take. It's about a minute separating the Dragon and the Baron. You see the goal graph. It's been a good one. It's been a topsy-turvy one. Yeah, and you see on the y-axis there, if you will, the lead has not been more than 2,000 for either.
So 4x4 in the pregame, you said that you were predicting that this would be the start of Fluxo's mid-season run. We saw it last split. How you feeling? Like 37 minutes into the game, dead even. What's the vibes?
Look, I'm feeling worse. But
you thought it would be more dominant than this?
I did. I didn't even think it would be more dominant. I just thought I wasn't. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility the game would take this long. Oh, baby. But I thought that it would be Fluxo just kind of, you know, having a little bit more of more control on this game. Yeah, here we go, baby. Oh, is Weiser just going to be left out to dry here? No. Oh, Hao's going back down to the bottom lane. It's a 5v4 for Pain Gaming. Should they want to take it? Looks like they're not going to opt into it. Someone's going to have to answer Hao's. He wants to take that inhib on respawn.
Yeah, Hao's wants that inhibitor again, damn it. He's going to take it even if it kills him. Playing very respectful, though, recognizing that Pain Gaming is off map. But, whoa. That auto did a lot. Okay, static shift, Bane LeBlanc, quite the split pusher. Damn, Hal's just taking that one and walking away for it. Weiser not able to answer, and another thing, putting Pain just that little bit behind, but you saw how respectfully Fluxo needed to play in those fights. B-Boy has done a tremendous amount of damage with this AP Varus, one-shotting basically anyone that he can get his arrows on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the damage graph after this game, result notwithstanding. Pain Gaming have played these fights very, very well. They had to play them backwards, right? Fluxo have been the aggressors. Maybe not in the traditional sense, but like you said, Hao's playing that LeBlanc whack-a-mole. Jojo, very good engages. And Desamis following up very nicely. We've seen that triumvirate. Tay, Desamis,
I've seen this before.
Yeah, start fights very well. Hao's, again, he's not going to get the inhibitor this time. He's going to get a little something else maybe here. Pain Gaming not opting to take the fight. They're just going to take the Baron and get the heck out of dodge. Fluxo trying to find something. They're not going to get it. Yeah, they know that their base is about to go to tatters.
I mean, he gets the Nexus turret, but I don't know, Fluxo, they keep gambling on this split push from Hao's, but they're just underestimating how quickly Double Marksman can take the Baron. Dinkato melts that one as the Tristana. Maybe you can find a pick on a Pro Delta, though. No, just going to walk away.
And now B-Boy's got that Shadow Flame.
And this is Soul for either team here.
I guess he sold the Shadow Flame. I thought I saw that icon come up, but either way, it is Soul. Perhaps a little bit more pertinently. Dragon spawns. I've got a feeling this is going to be the one that decides the game, maybe, but Fluxo, they've got the big lane of advantage. Weiser,
here they
goes over the wall and pops the Dominus, trying to take up some space there. Who's going to snag the Dragon? It will, in fact, be Weiser. He gets Cloud Soul for his team. Redemption coming down. Here comes the rest of the fight. Brunty is down. That is huge. The Marksmen are alive, and they are rolling through Fluxo. Pain get themselves the fight win and the Soul.
4x4, Pain has the Baron, and the enemy AD carry is dead for 50 seconds. Pain might just be able to end the game. They can run down mid with this parent up wave. Daisy to tank the towers as well. But Fluxo, they're going for the back door. House is onto it. Weiser needs to stop them.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna have some help. Here comes Dinkedo. The sun is taking him a while.
TP back.
Yeah, now TP back. Who's defending who here? Desamis will be the honorable sacrifice. One tower down. Karaoke able to get the tower down here, and now House can't do anything. Jojo is down. They can't get anything onto House. He has to pop the
He can't hold it.
It's not going to be enough, even with two not there. How about B-Boy going to take it, and Pain Gaming with the 5-0. One of the weirdest games you will see this split, but a dub is a dub is a